All right, check, 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 check. Look who is back. King of the block. Bridget, don't worry, I see you. Angela, I see you. Nakisha, Nakisha. The man called Shower Tony is in the building. I greet you well. Tell a friend, tweet a friend, phone a friend, tell a friend we're on, we're live. The chopping block is back in full effect. So tell your neighbor, tell your sister, and tell your brother, we're back. Chris Dixon, big up yourself. Steve Nemard, big up yourself. Marlene Williams, I see you. You're in the building. Big up yourself. Paula Fuller, big up yourself. Mary Joseph, I see ya. Camille, the right one, big up yourself. And Bridget Watson, you're in the building. Steve Nugent, up and running. The chopping block is back in full effect. And we got a pack house tonight, right? The agriculture minister is in the building. Locked and loaded. Tell a friend, tweet a friend, tell everybody we're on. We're live. The chopping block is back in full effect. The youngest agriculture minister in the building. Minister Floyd Green is here with us. And we got so much to talk about, man. He is the new face of food. So get used to it, right? Food security, for surety. Agribusiness. The new face of food is here. Minister Floyd Green is going to join us in a few minutes. Stick and stay. And don't delay. Garfield Reed, I see you. You're in the building. The Prosperity King himself is in the building. Damian Hilton, you're in the building. All right, folks, so it's going to be a very, 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 very long evening. We don't have a whole lot of time to waste because when we have the privilege of bringing people like Minister Floyd Green, we have to ensure that we capitalize and make use of all the information that we can get. So share the program, tell your friend, tweet your friend, tell everybody we're on, we're live. The chopping block, as they would say it, is back in full effect. So stick and stay. We're going to be right back. When we come back, we're going to bring to the forefront Minister Green, and we will get right into the meat of the matter.
Hello? 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 Yeah, you. Hold on, and a pandemic winner. You're now wearing a mask, you're now washing your hand, and you now keep the required 6 feet distancing from other people. And what could I really cause you? You need to stop it. That no mask, no wash, and no distance something there, nah keep. You know what keep? COVID-19. Yeah, it not gone nowhere. COVID-19, they are same way. So here what you are going to do for all of we. Wear your mask, wash or sanitize your hands pan a regular, and yeah, keep your distance, please. And thanks.
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside. Where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart. Feeling of pure love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat. Dancing to the beat up inside your heart. Whoa. Heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat.
Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
Our Say Yes to Fresh campaign has gotten an overwhelming response. Thanks to each and every one of you who have gone out and bought local and supported our farmers. Special thanks to our private partners, especially the CB Group, who helped conceptualize this Say Yes to Fresh campaign. Thus far, we have moved 1.1 million pounds of produce from over 10 parishes, assisting over 1,000 farmers. That is your work. But we're not out of the woods just yet. There's still a lot of items that are in excess, and we need your support for them. There's still a lot of local chicken on the market. There's still a lot of local pork. Please continue to buy local. Continue to buy with purpose. Continue to support our farmers as we say yes to fresh.
All right, say yes to fresh. Greetings, everybody. Greetings, 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 and peace profound, positive vibrations and positive sounds. This evening, folks, we have a long evening. We have with us Minister Floyd Green, who's going to join us in a couple of minutes. And just at the end of Minister Green, we're going to bring some folks from Montego Bay. We're going to also have Senator Kevan Gayle, who is going to join us right after Minister Green. We're going to talk about the Montego Bay Perimeter Road. As you know, that's a matter that came up in Parliament just a couple of days ago and brought some heated discussion and some level of discontent among a few people. So we wanted to take the opportunity to bring some folks who are on the ground in Montego Bay and to get their perspective on it. But not to take away from the real meat of the matter, what we are here to talk about this evening is food security, agribusiness development, climate smart technology, and export expansion, the acronym FACE. And we say it's the new face of food. We have the pleasure this evening of bringing someone who we haven't had a chance to bring on the block yet. Minister Green, the man dubbed Barber Green.
How are you, John? Good.
Awesome. Are you hearing us clearly?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me? All is well?
Yes, we're getting a slight little delay. Not sure if it's an headphone issue.
Okay.
But let me see if I can fix it from my end, because we don't want to miss anything that you have to say tonight, because there's so much
No problem.
for us to
Well, let me just say I'm very,
get
very happy
into.
to be here. Very
All right.
long.
Sounds like we might. Yes. So are you hearing me clearly now, Minister?
I'm hearing clearly.
All right, awesome. Little bit of delay, but I think we can work with it. Welcome. This is your first time on the block. First time we're interacting on this
Well,
platform.
the chopping block.
Minister, you brought some new initiative to Parliament. We're still getting a little bit of feedback there, Minister. I don't know if it is from your end.
Not sure.
If you have a headphone, perhaps that would have helped a little bit.
Let me.
Well, let's see if we can get Minister a headphone, and then we're gonna bring him right back. Just stand by. He's gonna get a headphone set up, and then we're gonna bring him right in. We cannot afford to miss a single word coming from Minister Green, the man who is dubbed Barber Green. And I'll tell you, I'll tell some of the listeners and viewers who might not be aware of why he's called Barber Green, but there you go. Let's see if that's a little better there. We might be a little better there. Let's see. All right. All right. We're gonna work with that. We're gonna work with that. But yes. So at the end of the program, I'll tell you guys why he's dubbed Barber Green. But Minister, you've brought some new initiatives to Parliament just a few days ago, and you brought a whole what they would call a bunch of goodies. Never heard the minister. Usually, people look for a bunch of goodies from the Ministry of Finance,
Right.
but this time the goodies came from the Minister of Agriculture. Talk to us a little bit about your presentation in Parliament and some of the new initiative, Minister.
Okay, no problem. Well, firstly, let me thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here, and I have to commend you. I think you're doing an excellent job.
Appreciate it, sir.
The production is first rate. I've watched some of other programs, and I really love how you stay on top of the ball in terms of keeping people informed, ensuring that they get the information directly from the source. Oftentimes, I think this program can only grow from strength to strength. So I know, even though this is my first time, it won't be my last time. So just say to you and the team that works with you to keep it up, and we're here to support you as much as possible. Really good program. All right. So, yeah, so this was my first sectoral presentation as Minister of Agriculture. And clearly, we had a lot of ground to cover. We wanted to ensure that at the end of the day, people were very clear of the vision that we have for agriculture. Clearly, it will take time to transform the entire vision into reality, but we wanted to be very clear in outlining that vision. What do we want to see from agriculture? What are we going to be working towards in relation to the next few years? And that vision is summed up in what we call the new face of food. And our mission is to create a agricultural fishery sector that is modern, that is research based, that is sustainable, that is market driven, and that is really engaging new people, engaging youth, engaging women, and targeting internal and external markets. So that is our overarching position of what we want to do with the agricultural sector. We sought to compress that into what we call FACE, which is our Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries will focus on food security. We will focus on agribusiness development because it's very critical that we realize that farming and fishing are businesses. We will focus on climate smart technologies because we are a small island developing state, and the realities of climate change, we face them every day. So we have to be constantly evolving to see how we can respond to those realities. And we will be export focused. And we say that without any fear. As a small island in agricultural fisheries, you have to pick winners. You have to focus on where you can get high value markets and high value returns. And a lot of that is outside of our shores. So that is it, the new face of agriculture. And we did a couple of things a little differently outside of what we did in the speech, what we brought, but just we tried to, one, work with the Jamaican creative community. Jamaica has some extraordinary creatives. And as such, when we came up with the theme, we said to Troy Dell that this is what we're looking for. This is what we envision, the new face of food. Give us a graphic that you think represents that. And I think he did an extraordinary job of putting forward an amazing graphic that highlighted youth, highlighted women, highlighted technology. And if you, and then we decided to go do away with the regular presenting a booklet with a speech. So what we did was to have a QR code that we shared. And if you see a little head now and again, that is my son who badly wants to join our conversation, but it's soon his bedtime. All right. Wait a minute. And yeah, so we decided to do away with printing a speech and to do a QR code that the parliamentarians scanned so they could actually see the speech on their smartphones and that we shared widely. Because again, the new face of food has to incorporate technology in everything we do. So that was it. The response thus far has been really, really good, really encouraging. I really want to thank the permanent secretary and my entire team, my advisor Gabriel Hilton and PR person Kenisha Campbell and my entire team. They worked very, very hard, sleepless nights to put it together. So I guess we can talk about some of the initiatives. Not hearing you.
There you go. Minister, what really struck me in this whole acronym phase is a business development part of it. For years, people always treat agriculture as if it's not a business. You know, it's just start some food, that's it. What makes you think that we can ratchet this up to the level now where we can now treat it as a matter of fact, agriculture was a significant part of our income, even in probably the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, yeah. You know, for a long time, we've kind of treated agriculture and fisheries as the fallback on, as the stepchild of our economic growth. When the reality, it has to be at the forefront of our economic growth. And in order to do that, then you really have to treat it as the business that it is. That means taking a multifaceted approach to agriculture and fisheries. So one, you have to deal with the professionals first. So you have to deal with your farmers and fishers. And how can you ensure that you're upgrading them and that they have access to the regular things that other professions have access to? And that's why we spent a lot of time after doing our listening tour. And, you know, we did start by moving around and listening to everybody, to hear every parish. We met with farmers and fishers to hear what are some of the challenges. And one of the big things we said is that we need our farmers and fishers to be able to have access to things that other professions have access to. So one, we started with insurance, health and life insurance. And as you know, Chopper, I come from a farming and fishing constituency. And we saw too many of our farmers and fishers do well, but then they get beset by illness. They don't have the coverage to take them through the illness. Unfortunately, ended up passing from that illness, and all of their savings have been wiped out, and it's very difficult for the family. So the first step to really treat agriculture as a business is to ensure that people recognize that the profession is valued and valid, and as such, they must have access. So as you now know, we now have health and life insurance, both Sagicor and Guardian Life offer health and life insurance for our farmers and fishers on preferential terms, and I mean amazing terms. I mean, you can get life insurance up to $1.5 million for less than $400 a month, right? Terms like that, really significant.
Less than 400 Jamaican dollars a month?
Less than $400 a month, right? Yeah, yeah, no, it's not I'm not misspeaking. Less than 400 a month. And
I tempted to ask if you were talking about US dollars there.
No, and you can get personal injury for about $300 a month. Personal injury protection for over $1 million. So if you get in an accident, coverage, you can get critical illness, you can get regular health insurance when you go with your card to the pharmacy. So we have that now, and we're saying that is the first step, because in developing your sector, you have to start with the people in your sector. And sometimes we try to develop the sector outside of the people. My approach is to start with the people first, right? So we have that, and I want to use the opportunity to encourage farmers and fishers, sign up if you've not already done so for the health and life insurance. It will ensure that you secure your future, secure your wealth, and secure your family. So that is one. The other thing is that we have to ensure that on the ground, we're teaching more farming principles. So we started last year to introduce our extension officers into what we call farming as a business, a course that we do with the Canadian Commonwealth Institute. And all of them have now been trained. And this year, we're going to roll out teaching our farming groups and farmers how to really approach farming as a business. We're going to teach them about record keeping, we're going to teach them about market trends, data analysis, business plans, things of that nature that we think are critical, because we want every farmer and fisher to recognize that they are in a business. They must know what they're investing, their rate of returns, their cost of production, and again, market analysis. So that's important, and we're going to be rolling that out this year. The other thing is to use technology to ensure that our farmers, especially through the RADA system, get the attention that they deserve. We still have too many complaints about people not seeing extension officers, and there is a challenge in terms of the numbers, because our ratio is just out of tune. But what we have to do is to use the technology to reach more people. So we're introducing Chopper software program, which is the extension activities management software that really allows us to track our extension officers and allow the extension officers to do real-time updates. When they go to a farmer, they can update and say, one, the GPS location of this farm. They can put that in the system automatically. What the crop is, what crop is being grown, what is the intervention, things of that nature. But more importantly, we will be able to see which extension officer spent how much time with what farmer. What did they input the farmer and say, right? What did they do for the day? We can put up the software and see Chopper as an extension officer. He reached the first farm at this time. He spent this amount of time. He moved to the next person. So we can have a greater sense of accountability. And I've also said to my parish managers and my RADA officers, all of them must use WhatsApp, text messaging, and start engaging the farmers. We want to see these farmers groups on WhatsApp that they can share critical information. The farmers now are very savvy. They have their smartphones, they're up and down. So we're really seeking to do the business development part. And the last thing that I will say is that we need to generate more investment in agriculture. And oftentimes we speak about agriculture and say, you know, we need to do X and we need to do Y. Oftentimes the we means government, when the we should really mean us, the people, the private sector. Because if agriculture is to truly innovate and grow, private sector investment has to be at the forefront. And one of the things I did was to spend a part of my speech talking about some of those investments, because you see the reality, Chopper, and if you listen to some in the house who made presentations, they gave the impression that nothing was happening in agriculture and that no value added was taking place, that nobody was investment. And that doesn't help us, because it's not true, quite frankly. And more importantly, we need to tell the good stories so that people who are thinking about it can embark on their own journey. So I share the reality that we know under our Agro Invest Corporation, we've been able to secure $100 million investment from Spur Tree Spices. They are investing in our agroeconomic zone in the Holland Estate. They have already started refurbishing buildings down there. They're going to do an agro-processing plant down there in Holland, St. Elizabeth. They've already spent $44 million. Total spend will be $100 million. And that is going to serve things like a pepper mash facility and other things of that nature. We've already seen significant investment from people like True Juice. You may have seen that True Juice is now in milk, right?
Yes.
So they've fully gone into dairy production. They have 3 new lines of products. They have a milk. They have something they call True Shake, which is a sort of, what do you call those, nutritional supplements. And they just released a chocolate milk called
So
True.
you're spending almost 150 billion, you mentioned in part of your presentation, in a new milkery, state-of-the-art facility there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So at Bordeaux. So dairy.
You're
dairy
giving big support to that industry, huh?
Yeah, dairy is one of the things that we still have a competitive advantage in, and we're giving significant support, especially through research. So this year, you're right, under our Bordeaux redevelopment program, we're going to be doing a new state-of-the-art milkery and a new state-of-the-art piggery, and we're spending about $150 million. So part of what we're seeing is that people are investing. I'll leave one more example. There's a company called Chavot.
Yes.
Spoke about during COVID-19. They saw a 400% increase in demand for their products. They do agro-processing, they do teas, they do breadfruit flour. In fact, under license, they do cassava flour for Seprod. They had to move during COVID-19 to a 24-hour work week, employing more people. They now employ 53 persons. And in fact, they're looking to invest $250 million to build a new factory because they've outgrown their space. So I tell these stories to say, despite COVID, people
Yes.
still eat, right? So we need to refocus our private sector energy to invest in agriculture.
So, Minister, this is sort of good news because one would think that in COVID, in the height of the COVID pandemic, agriculture would have, and the sector in general would have dipped way below. And you're saying that some of the entities within is actually showing growth.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the reality, our farmers and fishers are very resilient. They are, in fact, the most resilient people in our country. They keep going despite all sorts of challenges. We consistently have weather challenges, drought, and then floods, and the farmers still go out, the fishers still go out to sea. So COVID-19 has been challenging. COVID-19
Yeah.
has been difficult. A lot of our farmers and fishers lost their market share because a lot of them supported the tourism sector. You know what happened with that. So we did see significant fallout. And then, we had terrible rains towards the end of last year that wiped out a lot of our vegetable crops. But despite that, year on year, agriculture grew by about 1.2%. And it actually grew to our highest level on record, right? 697,000 tons of products. That's the highest level on record. And a lot of that was largely because of government intervention.
Well, that's what I was about to say to you,
Yeah,
Minister. That during the COVID pandemic, we saw where the intervention yields some great result. We had farmers market popping up all over
yeah.
Jamaica.
So we did two things very early. We recognized that we would have to directly intervene. And normally you try not to directly intervene in the market environment, right? But clearly difficult times and call for really
Difficult measures.
difficult measures. So we earmarked $240 million, the government, to help buy back produce from our farmers. And we literally directly went in and bought produce from them and then redistributed through things like our farmers market. So what we did is, again, went out, bought, redistribute. We actually had 114 farmers market across Jamaica last year, and we had 55 drive-through markets across Jamaica. And through that, we were able to move over 2 million kilograms of produce and helped over 3,000 farmers directly, 40,000 farm families indirectly. So that helped. And we got support from the FAO, who put $35 million, so we were able to do that. And just to say, we as a government recognize that we're still in a COVID pandemic. We're still in a crisis. We would have hoped that by now things would have stabilized and that our tourism sector would have rebounded, our hospitality sector, but we see what's happening world over. So with that in mind, we recognize that our farmers are still having difficulty. And we're saying to them, don't stop planting, because the hardest thing is when man give up in field to go back to it. So we want to keep them in it. So this government has allocated in this financial year an additional $200 million to support, to keep that program going. And the other thing we did, Chopper, was the Say Yes to Fresh campaign.
Yes.
And you played one of the videos because we recognized that not only did we have to directly intervene, we had to try and change the consumption patterns of us as people.
Yeah.
I don't know if we recognize how much imported items make up of our day-to-day food basket. Yeah. Most of us eat rice almost every day, right? Most of us don't look when we go to the supermarket to see whether the onion is imported or is local.
Or local, right? Yes.
The reality, if you're buying imported onions, you're really helping another farmer that's not your own, right? So we started this Fresh campaign with private sector support, and we're saying, listen, support our farmers. Say yes to fresh, buy with purpose. When they go out, look ensuring that you're buying from our Jamaican farmers. Look in your consumption patterns. How much can you substitute the rice for dasheen or cocoa or banana? Can you do more of that? Because it adds up. It literally adds up. And to be honest, we're seeing great results. We're seeing more eggs being consumed. In fact, the largest egg production on record. We're seeing more ground provisions being consumed. some things that people never knew would grow in Jamaica, like eggplant,
Zucchini.
and zucchini, right? Nathaniel, you want to say hi?
There's a new minister. Hey,
Yeah.
Nathaniel. What's
All
up,
right. Yeah. So we're seeing all of that. What are you saying? Good night. Good night, my son. Yeah, so we're seeing all of that. So we've really tried to take a direct approach, and we're going to continue that direct approach. As I said in Parliament, this government will never not hold the hand of our farmers and fishers. And as I said, fishers, we speak a lot about what we did for the farmers, but just to let you know, we did for the first time ever a fishers productivity incentive program, because the same challenges that our farmers had, our fishers had. You know, a lot of them serve the hotel market, a lot of them do lobster harvesting, saw a significant downturn in their revenue. And as such, we were able to give them direct support. We put about $146 million to give in small grants, still distributing those. We helped our fish farmers through $72 million. We help our industrial farmers, industrial fishers through $83 million. So the government really has put, through agriculture and fisheries, direct support to keep our farming and fishing communities up
So
and
you
running.
kept the market afloat. Minister, one of the things that I have seen, in traveling through Jamaica, and St. Elizabeth is my home ground. So when I go to Southfield, traditionally one of the problems you'll hear is the lack of water, irrigation. There's always been an issue. And two things. So I wanted you to talk to us about what has been done to sort of mitigate against drought that might come up, sometime this year. And also the big argument about glut. I cannot understand, Minister, why is it that all the time the same glut comes on the market over and over again? Is it that we're not planning and coordinating the planting properly?
Yeah. So two really strong questions. So we did spend a significant part of the presentation talking about climate resilience and really ensuring that our farmers have access to water. Water still remains the biggest challenge to farmers across Jamaica. And it's a challenge to farmers in the plains, it's a challenge to farmers in our hills. So it's something that we have to address, and I've said to the team, we have to accelerate the pace of addressing that. So one, where we're seeing some good results, we do have a $35 million 35 million pound project that we're extending our irrigation network in Essex Valley, South Manchester, South St. Elizabeth. That will cover over 700 hectares of land, expected to finish in 2023. We've already dug 4 wells in Essex Valley. Like I've said to the team, we have to ensure that we accelerate the pace, we get on the timelines. These projects should have happened decades ago, so we don't have the time, quite frankly. Second one is the Southern Plains. We have 17 million pounds in the Southern Plains irrigation network. We're doing South Clarendon, parts of St. Catherine, again, covering 795 hectares of land, touching base with over 1,500 farmers. That is on track. That project is on track for the most part. Should be finished in 2023 again. The other thing that we have said that we're going to be doing is we're going to be expanding our truck network. We recognize that while we continue to build out our irrigation supply, we also have to do additional trucks. So, for example, we would have just procured 2 new trucks that we put in South St. Elizabeth. I would have just unveiled them about a month ago, and those will serve farmers in that South St. Elizabeth belt all the way down to Top Hill. And it's tremendous production, but a big water challenge. We have a bigger program for that belt, which is the PJ Plains irrigation program, which we've already done a feasibility study. It's going to cost us about 200 million United States dollars. We're now in discussion with the French government to see how we can partner to get funded. That is a high priority for me. The other thing that we're working on, and again, as you see, you have to have short, medium, long-term plans. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the short term, we have to get some of our catchment facilities back up and running. Right? We did go through a period of history in our country where a number of ponds, catchment tanks were built. Unfortunately, they've been allowed to run down, and they're now not serving our farmers. So I've launched a rehabilitation program for these catchment facilities. We're doing 10 presently, 3 in St. Elizabeth, 3 in St. Anne, and 4, I think, in Manchester. So that is ongoing. And what you will see this year, we'll be looking to identify areas that we can do ponds, inland ponds, lining, using pond liners to line inland indentations and ensure that they can catch water and then use that to serve the farmers. In fact, we just finished one of those in Manchester, and we're going to keep that momentum going. So we're going to be doing catchment areas and more trucks as a way to ease the short-term burden for our farmers without water. In relation to the question of glut, long-standing challenge, it is twofold, quite frankly. One, a lot of our farmers are resistant to change, and it's something that we have to keep working on. So, a lot of our farmers develop significant competence in what they farm. So, you're a melon farmer, you're a cantaloupe farmer. So, if I were to come to you and say, let's try some zucchini, we have already market for you, they may be unwilling. You have to be able to really have the technical expertise to work with them and to show them the ready market. And that is something that we have to continue to work with our farmers to change. Hence, the business of farming course for the farmers are so critical, because in any business, Chopper, you have to do the analysis, right? So if you look around and you realize everybody's planting tomato now, now is probably not the best time
Right.
to plant tomato. But that is one hand. On the other hand, the most fundamental issue has been that we do not have sufficient storage capacity to extend the shelf life of our products. And that's why we quickly go from glut to shortage.
The shortage, yes, yes.
So literally, you have 2 weeks glut in tomatoes, right?
Yes.
Because there's no storage. If you can't get it sell, it spoils. And then 2 weeks later, you have a shortage. And
Sweet pepper, $1,000 a pound this week.
Absolutely. So what we have to do is address the storage issue. And I'm very happy that I was able to announce in Parliament that this year we will be starting on an 18-month program to address some of our storage issues. And that is under our cold chain network facility. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be targeting 6 highly productive areas that often have excess supply, and we're going to be establishing cold chain support for those areas. What does that mean? Literally, we're going to be putting up modular walk-in cold rooms that can store excess produce. We're also going to be providing those areas with refrigerated trucks, so you can transport your produce from the cold room to the marketplace. And we're going to infuse technology, so you're going to have data loggers, so you can track the temperature in your cold room, track the temperature in your truck. You can make adjustments without having to visit, and you can do all of that using your cellular phone, right? And to top it all off, all of these cold rooms will be solar powered, because the big challenge has been over the years the cost
Electricity.
So yes. A massive project, about 157 million, and I really want to use the opportunity to really thank the government and the people of Morocco. They are making this possible through a US $945,000 grant.
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 I like hearing that word, Minister.
Yeah,
that's a good word.
Between our Ministry of Agriculture and theirs, and our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I really want to thank Minister Kabina Johnson-Smith. We've been in constant dialogue in relation to how can we strengthen our agricultural project. And when we said to Minister Johnson-Smith that we want to put as a priority this cold chain support, she ran with it and she engaged them, and we're ready to go. So we're going to start that this year. It will span over 18 months. I think that will really help revolutionize the face of agriculture, because it will really treat with some of the glut conditions, and also put us in a better state for even things like the export market. Very, very important. I don't know if you're saying something, Chopper, but you're probably muted. Not hearing you, Chopper.
Today with Minister. Are we back now?
Yeah, man.
Awesome. All right. So, Minister, when you put this system in place for storage, what I want you to do for us to break it down. How does this now affect and prevent that glut? I mean, I might understand, but there are persons on here who
So again, one of the big challenges is that we have very limited shelf lives for our products, especially our vegetable lines. So if you can, again, let us say you have a market demand for weekly 1,000 pounds of tomato, just using a number, right? And now your production is 2,000 pounds of tomato. in this week, right? Now, what oftentimes happens is that because the shelf life is so short, that in the week, if you can't sell at 2,000 pounds, you end up losing that additional 1,000 pounds. With these storage systems, you will be able to put in that extra 1,000 pounds, store that, and then use that to supply the next week's demand and the week's demand going down. So by extending the shelf life, especially because the demand doesn't go away, right? By extending the shelf life, you'll have the greater supply. And it's something that we have to do across all our product lines. We've been targeting, for example, Irish potato under our production incentive program. Part of what we're doing is encouraging the private sector to put in, appropriate storage facilities so that they can extend the shelf life, because we're now up to about 80% Irish potato, 85% production based on demand. Yes, but again, what you will find are sometimes that because you don't have the storage to extend the life, that you don't have Irish potato, right? Now, if we can get the adequate storage in place, we can, in those times when you're not in production, have those supplies to serve. Same thing with onion, but we still have to do we still have to keep moving to get onion production up more, right? We still are just about 30% of our onion demand, but it's something that we've been working on significantly because to drive it. And I guess it's a good segue. I know oftentimes your viewers wonder, what should they get into? They want to get into agriculture. What should they look to? What area is interested, or what area does the government support? So we have 12 crop lines from RADA that we are supporting. And I think it makes sense to tell you. I hope I remember all of them. So if you're looking to get involved in agriculture, we have chosen these crop lines because of the significant local and international demand, depending on which crop we're thinking about. And we provide direct support. We provide direct input support to help you, and hand-holding and marketing to help you. So we are looking at things like Irish potato. We're looking at pineapple. We're looking at ginger. We're looking at dasheen. We're looking at cocoa. We're looking at strawberry. We're looking at turmeric. That's another area. And which others am I leaving out? I'm going to pull up the list and tell you before I finish. But we still do vegetables.
You're going to post that list because I think you had circulated that list.
Yeah,
yes,
definitely. And it's very, very important. And so that is on the agriculture side. And you can contact RADA. Lime is one of them. You can contact RADA. We will tell you. We can guide you through how you get involved in some of those. On the fisheries side, what we want to see more people go into is aquaculture, right? So we want to see more of everybody do more inland fish farming, right? We want to drive the tilapia production. The reality is that one of the things that saw a significant increase in demand chopper during COVID was tilapia. My tilapia farmers, as we say in country, they never have hand
to sell it.
No, absolutely. All of them tell me, right? So we need more people to go involved. There was a time we used to have an active export trade in tilapia. We don't have it now. We need more people to go involved. And then additionally, we want people to look into mariculture. And what is mariculture? It means growing in the sea, right? Using the sea as your substrate to grow. So Jamaica, we have more ocean, sea space, and we have land space.
Yes.
Significantly underutilized. In other parts of the world, they're growing significant amounts of oysters in the sea, right? We started some projects to that regard, and if you are listening and you have a community group and you're interested in oysters production, contact the National Fisheries Authority. We can guide you through the process. Once the people doing seaweed, Jamaican sea moss is in tremendous demand all over the world. I mean, some of the top reality TV stars are using it in their beauty regimes. It's a high valued product. So oysters, sea moss, things like sea cucumber, which we can talk about, blue crab, all of these things can be grown literally in the sea and can make real money. So there are real opportunities that we want to see more people looking into.
Right, but Minister, you're bringing first world standard to agriculture. I mean, the sort of input that we're seeing now, in a few years we can fully compete. One of our viewers just mentioned a while ago that one of the reasons that she don't consume a lot of local stuff on a consistent basis is always the availability. For example, onions you spoke about. But you just clarified that a while ago by saying that we're only producing 30% of what we actually need.
Yeah.
So that's an area that we're gonna have to step up on, and
Yeah, and again, and I put out these figures because again, what I need people to recognize is that is the government presents the policy framework. The government provides you with the information. The government is going to be focusing a lot of attention on research and ensuring that we have the best varieties, the most resilient varieties. The government is going to be focusing on things like soil health, right? To ensure if you're going out to plant, you know what you're planting in. Things like seed production and developing a seed bank. So the government is going to be spending a lot of energy on those areas. What we need is for people, you, me, and you, to invest in agriculture. Oftentimes we say, what business we're going to go in, and we have the land right beside us, and we leave it alone. So I can tell you, we only supply about 30% of our onion needs, right? Everybody who is in onion gets their onion sold, right? And normally for good prices. So it's an area for people to look into. One of the other areas that you may have seen that we're going to be providing a lot of focus on is our small ruminant industry,
Mhm.
right? Our goats, yes, our sheep. We're going to be taking a couple of different approaches. One, we're going to be taking an overall policy approach, a policy shift. So we now have the Dairy Development Board, which has done really well on resuscitating, reviving, putting new energy into dairy production. What we're going to be doing is expanding their mandate to be a national livestock development board, right? Because we want to focus our energies on dairy as well as on beef cattle and on our small ruminants. And we believe we need an overarching entity to do that. We have to get
So you
a
broaden the scope now.
broadening the scope completely. We're going to have new parameters. We're going to do some legislative changing. That is a policy direction, which we're going to now walk through the process. I envision it will take us another year, 2 years to fully reshape. But again, as I've said, while I outlined the overarching vision what we're going to do, we were going to ride and whistle. We have to, right? Because some of these things should have been done 2 decades. We import about 85% of our consumptive needs for mutton, right? Goat meat.
Import, yes.
Yeah, import. And I said for and I said for goat meat, but a lot of people don't recognize that we import more mutton, which is sheep, than goat meat, right? So we do that to satisfy our demand for goat meat, right? So one of the things that we have to do is drive up our goat production, right? But it can't be haphazard. It can't be you're just going
Raise two goat and that will
just
solve the
going to take a
problem.
sheep goat and give a small
Yeah.
child, right?
Yeah.
And that is your answer.
But Minister, by your trend stone there, though, because
No,
remember there was
it
by your
doesn't work like
your
that.
trend stone there, though, Minister.
No, but it doesn't work like that. What we have to do is take a more structured approach because
Yes.
what we need is to move from a laissez-faire type goat production to a semi-intensive, more intensive type goat production. And the only way to do that is to put technology at the forefront. So we need more of our goat farmers to be building goat houses. Need them to recognize that there's a thing such as animal comfort and that the goats do better when they don't have to walk up and down, or when you bring their food to them. You get quicker growth, you get better meat production, and we need to also look at value added. Like, why are we not doing more goat milk? You know, it's oftentimes the same goat. Why are not we looking into goat cheese? So we're going to be leading that from a policy position, but also to drive rapid multiplication. We're going to be embarking on an embryo transfer program and an artificial insemination program. So what that means is that we're going to be giving at least 1 to 3 straws of semen of any breed of their choice, the farmer's choice, to registered goat farmers or small ruminant farmers, goat and sheep, right? We will come led by our chief veterinary officer, and we will do that insemination for you, right? So that we can ensure we're not leaving it to chance, so that you can get better breeds, better quality, and a rapid multiplication of the goat population. And we're going to do that completely free of cost, right? We're looking to touch at least 6,000 goat farmers to really ramp up our numbers. And sorry, goat and sheep, because we're doing it for both small ruminants so that we can get a greater production. So what we're doing is taking a much more structured approach to our livestock sector and trying to give them more attention and support. And a number of people have done very, very well in the livestock industry, those who've taken that structured approach, and we're going to support that structured approach.
Wow, Minister, that's a mouthful. We're going to take a break and we'll come back. We're going to give you the final word. Minister Green, we'll be right back.
Hey, it's the girl Shensia with a message to you from myself and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Shen Yangs, everyone see wear a mask where the numbers drop. I don't want COVID, lay you don't chat. Nose and mouth, you fi cover up that. Oh, 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 oh. Sanitize or get hospitalized. Fight the virus and fight for your life, yeah. Nobody talk about say you no response no more. Don't be reckless, cause you test so you not have it. You can still get the virus from somebody. Don't be reckless, cause you test so you not have it. You can still get the virus. So keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Keep the numbers down. Protect yourself and the people around. COVID in town, 6 feet apart and 6 feet in the ground. Stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive.
Nah, click on your link for my liquor brother pre that slot bro, we no need that. And the next thing them type of song they are listening online, what kind of thing that some big man pose up on them profile and a put chat to a small child. Watch yourself on social media when you a post boxes, no do nothing too wild. What if your little brother said a post ya? What if your bro dead in another crime video ya? What if your little sister fi take a one pic and it a put up everywhere like it's a poster? Before me share the post, the pic, I ask myself what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if I nah comment, I nah go click me. Before me ask what if so before you share the post, the link, just ask yourself what if yeah. When you're there online, make it a new day at the rhyme. Keep up with the time. Broadcasting commissioner remind you.
Domestic conflicts are not ignored by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, as they can result in serious injury or death.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Constable McIntyre and with Constable Pierce. We received a telephone call re a domestic dispute at this location. Are you okay, ma'am?
Just me and my husband. We had a dispute. I was asking him some questions and he got all upset on me.
Yo, when I tell you to stop stressing me out, you're not here, you're not listen.
In these situations, we make sure that all parties involved are unharmed and prevent the situation from continuing or escalating. It's also our duty to inform the disputing parties that counseling is available to prevent a recurrence of the situation. If there is any evidence of harm to anyone, the police have a duty to commence an investigation. Help us to keep you safe. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, a force for good.
Our Say Yes to Fresh campaign has gotten an overwhelming response. Thanks to each and every one of you who have gone out and bought local and supported our farmers. Special thanks to our private partners, especially the CB Group, who helped conceptualize this Say Yes to Fresh campaign. Thus far, we have moved 1.1 million pounds of produce from over 10 parishes, assisting over 1,000 farmers. That is your work. But we're not out of the woods just yet. There's still a lot of items that are in excess, and we need your support for them. There's still a lot of local chicken on the market. There's still a lot of local pork. Please continue to buy local. Continue to buy with purpose. Continue to support our farmers as we say yes to fresh.
All right, so welcome back. We still have with us Minister Floyd Green, who has given us a raft of information on the new It's a food campaign, the new initiative, and a bunch of other stuff. Lots of good answers to the questions that I personally had. I had a real challenge in why we fix this whole glut situation, and it seemed like you find the correct antidote for that. Minister Green,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the final word because I know you have a long day tomorrow. It's Monday.
Yeah, cabinet.
Yes.
Well. Let me just close off. Just to indicate, you can we'll share the presentation. We do have it in multiple versions, and I want to thank the agriculturalist for putting it into a nice flipbook format for us. So we'll definitely send it out so you can share it across the various networks. We think that's important because it is wide ranging. We've spoken about food security, we've spoken about agribusiness development, we've spoken about climate change. The last area is export expansion. So we're really going to be focusing a lot of energy on export, on bringing the best food in the world to the world. It's very, very important. You've seen the sort of demand that we have for mangoes, and we're going to be trying to get 1,000 acres up and running this year. We're going to put in the infrastructure, road, water, and we want the private sector to invest in getting mango orchards up and running because we're going to have a hot water treatment plant developed in Jamaica, which is really big news because it means we can treat our mangoes here. We're also going to be starting harvesting sea cucumber, another exciting area for export, significant demand in East Asia, especially about $385 per kilogram for sea cucumber. We have done a detailed assessment. Chopper, I mean, we spent 6 years, the ministry spent 6 years looking at can we do it, how we can do it with a pilot program with our industrial officials, right? They went out, we saw the numbers, we kept records, we did multiple surveys, we surveyed the island shelf and the Pedro banks, and we did all of that before deciding if we could do a sea cucumber fishery and how much it would be. So we have decided that we can sustain an industry. We've decided to target a small amount, which is about 30 tons, metric tons of sea cucumber each year. So it's going to be a limited fishery, right? But again, we have to tap into the significant international demand, and we will continue to monitor it. We will have, for example, we have decided that it will be conducted on the Pedro Bank, not on the island shelf, because we have looked at the numbers and see where we can sustain it from. So we're taking a really detailed approach. And again, we'll be supporting things like turmeric. We've waived the fees, administrative fees for the exportation of turmeric because it's in such significant demand. And we will really just be targeting to drive up our exports. Two things as I read some of the questions coming in. So I'll deal with these last two.
Yes, please.
Predator lastly is still remains a very big challenge, especially to our livestock farmers, especially to our small ruminant farmers. Well, we have been doing better. We've taken an approach to streamline our work with the JCF. We got the JCF last year to categorize predator larceny as a major crime. That's huge because what it means is that the JCF can now mobilize resources in the fight against predator larceny, just as they would do for rape, for murder, which are other major crimes. So in that regard, we have 7 units, 7 predator larceny units across 7 divisions, staff with about 4 to 5 officers. All of them have a motor vehicle, and that has been helping us to do a better job at tackling predator larceny. We moved last year to this year, we moved arrests by 60%. So in 2019, we arrested 72 people. Last year, we arrested 114 people. We moved our operations from 200 to 800. So that's to show you a 181% increase. We recovered 70 animals. So we are doing better, but there's a far way to go. So this year, we want to do a pilot for our agricultural wardens program, which Chopper is like, think about a district constable for agriculture, right? So somebody with police powers, but on the ground in the community to try and ward off predator larceny, right? And we're also going to be setting up community watch groups. Again, think about a neighborhood watch. We definitely want farm watch groups. The communities who do better are where the farmers come together and watch each other's property, right? And we're going to be targeting the markets. So, I'm putting everybody on notice.
Yes.
We're going to be going to the market spaces. Illegal produce should have nowhere to be sold. So we're going to be clamping those who trade in meat, trade in agricultural produce to prove that they got it through legitimate sources. So that's pretty the last. It's still work in progress. Somebody asked about how do they lease land? How do they get land? The two major land banks for the ministry is the Sugar Company of Jamaica Holdings, SCJH. You can contact them directly. You can find them online. They're on all social media as well. And you can reach out to them and tell them that you have an interest. And also the Agro Invest Corporation, they control all of our agri-park lands, and we have been getting more land into agriculture. So in fact, we just got from the NHT and from the NLA about 9,000 acres of land that was under their control, that is good agricultural land that we are taking back. So, it's worth noting that we are literally taking back agricultural produce now. So contact Agro Invest Corporation, contact the SCJ. Ready, we do have a Ready To program, and the Ready To program is going to be spread over a number of years. So it is ongoing. It's a 5-year program, significant amount of funds. It is run through JSIF. They just did a call last year. They're doing a new call now. For those who are not familiar, Ready is a rural economic development initiative. We had Ready 1. It really targets agriculture and tourism, helped a lot of farming groups. We are now in Ready 2, and Ready 2 will run for the next 5 years. So significant. I think it's $40 million in terms of US dollars that is in Ready 2 over the next 5 years, 40 million United States dollars. So all in all, that is it. As somebody saying, Dashin too expensive. The reality is that we're getting the price for Dashin, right? We're getting the price for Dashin on the international market. Quite frankly, all people who export Dashin just don't have enough hands.
Don't have enough, right? Right.
No, they just don't have enough. So Dashin is all about where you're going to farm it. So it's very important that you are choosing the areas that you're going into Dashin production carefully. Likes water, you have to choose some of those areas. So it's very, very important. Yam, we are focusing a lot more attention on yam. You may not know, Chopper, but yam is our #1 domestic export. Yam, again, when you talk about export, Jamaica agricultural exports grew during COVID-19.
Right.
It grew by 8.4%. Yam exports went up by 24%. Right? What else? Yam went up. Ackee exports went up by 7%. Sauces went up by 7%. So the reality is that we are seeing really some areas that we have a competitive advantage in. Yam is one of those. Somebody asking about poultry. Poultry is difficult, right? It's very hard for us to intervene in relation to poultry because it requires specific storage that we really just don't have, right? Once we get more storage, I think we'll be better able to help. But as it is now, we have to be working with our poultry farmers to try and moderate their production levels, look at what is happening in and around them, look at what is happening with schools. And we've been providing direct support to providing chicken, providing feed, but it's difficult. I will say, and I want to say it now, we are going to go through, and we've started, an even more difficult time. I'll tell you why, Chopper. The reality is that feed prices are going through a significant increase. And that's because of what is happening on the international stage. In fact, world feed prices between September and now have risen by 64%. 64%. Things like corn has gone up by 80%. Things like soya meal have gone up by 40%. And the same thing even on the fertilizer side, things like nitrogen have gone up by 60%. Locally, we've seen about a 15 to 30% increase across feed lines. So it is a matter that I'm concerned about. It's a very difficult matter to treat with. So I've asked the PS to call in our local producers to see if anything can be done. Again, it's something that we'll have to take short, medium, long-term strategies. We're seeing if we have any funds that we can help with direct intervention. But in the medium to long term, we have to continue to look at substitutes, and we have to continue to look at storage. So, it is work in progress. Rabbit, there is a market for rabbit. It's not one of the areas that we support directly, but there is a growing market for rabbits because more people are recognizing that it is a very tasty meat. Jerk centers that are now doing jerk rabbit meat. So it is growing, but we don't support it directly. Again, I'm very frank. we won't be able to do everything, especially direct
Right.
support for everything. So we really have to choose our winners and work through those winners. So my final word, I just want to thank everybody for the support. I can tell you, it has been really an exciting journey thus far. A lot of people consistently encourage me. They give me constructive criticism, and I appreciate that. And I think people recognize that if Jamaica is to do well, if we are to move forward, if we are to recover stronger and build back better, then we have to do that through agriculture and fisheries. So I really thank all the groups that have reached out. And I know this program has a lot of support from some of our on the ground social media warriors that are out there. And I want you to know that we really appreciate you and I appreciate you. And unfortunately, social media is that place that people often come after our people, come after government for no reason, right? They try to distract from the fact that we're trying to move Jamaica forward. And all of you who are on, who consistently engage in those conversations, who get the speeches before we share them, who share the information, I really, really appreciate it. I know the the JLP Information Center people, they are online listening, and I want them to know I appreciate them, Desmond, you and that team. And it's very important because good news is so hard to share in our media reality. And we have to put out the good work of the government. And we're not perfect, right? And it is a difficult time. But I think I can definitely say I'm happy that I have been given the opportunity to be here now to help maneuver this period for Jamaica. And I can't think of a better person to be at the helm than our Prime Minister Andrew Holness, right? He continues to be a level head, a steady hand, and a visionary leader that empowers us to do better and makes us work hard and challenges us to think bigger, right? And I remember when he appointed me as minister and he sat before me, he said, Floyd, what we're looking for is vision, right? We wanted to reshape this sector, right? And that's what we're trying to do. So I just want to thank your chopping block team, and I really want to thank all our bloggers and everybody who supports the mission, and everybody, all Jamaicans, both here and abroad, to recognize that it's difficult, but Jamaica is going to come out of this stronger.
Oh, yes.
Fisheries is going to lead. So get it now is the time.
Thank you, Minister. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the work that you've been doing. Thank you for bringing a new energy, not just the youngest minister of agriculture, but the cleanest and the meanest when it comes to bringing technology. We appreciate you, man. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Minister.
right, good. Anytime.
All the best. Good. That was Minister Floyd Green. Graced us with his presence and gave us nothing but factual information and stuff that we can rest assured. I mean, just by listening to the minister, we can rest assured that Jamaica is in safe hands. Now, when we come back, we want to get into the real deal. Recently, the Prime Minister announced the forward movement of the perimeter roads in Montego Bay. Montego Bay, as you know it, and we can get down to the real politics of it. But let us just deal with it from a business perspective. I happen to live in Montego Bay. I'm now an honorary citizen, they say. I don't get my passport yet, but I'll talk to Custos about it. But in Montego Bay, one of the things that they suffer from is traffic. The inability to move around freely. And what that does in any country at all, I've traveled to many countries in the world, and one of the worst things you can have is bad traffic. When you have traffic, it slows down commerce and it just kills the commerce in the city. Montego Bay is no exception. To get from point A to point B, sometimes it takes you hours. And it does impact the tourism sector. So the government has moved forward in fast-tracking the long-awaited perimeter road, which runs from somewhere out there in Bogue. I can't give you the exact geographic location now. I think the persons who are coming on to discuss it would be able to give us a little bit more. But we're going to be joined in a quick minute by Senator Kevan Gayle, who spoke on the issue extensively recently. We're going to be also joined by Councillor Dwight Crawford, better known as Debo. and Mr. Jason Russell, one of the business pioneer in the city of Montego Bay. So we're going to take a quick break, folks, and when we come back, we're going to get into the meat of the matter and explain to folks. You see, everybody weighing in on this issue. Everybody weighing in, and most of the people who we hear talking about it is from Kingston. Some of them can't find their way to Montego Bay. A lot of these folks who we hear giving their opinion as to whether or not this project should be expedited can't find their way to Mobe. Them don't know bottom road different from top road. Thank God I know it. So I can speak from a point of knowing, and I understand the issue. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the meat of the matter. Have a quick discussion with these folks. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
Hey, you can be anything you want in a life, and where you come from, and where your mindset deck. Look on me, now we come from the yard of the ghetto, wanna represent the brand Pepsi. Hey.
Yeah, we're doing it for the love. So good here we can't get enough. Every taste, every vibe, every kick in it. I can rise up above.
For the love of taste, I can.
For the love of self-expression, I can. For the love of standing out, I can.
For the love of myself, I can.
For the love of moving people, I can.
For the love of my country, I can.
Jamaican, I can. Jamaican, I can. Jamaican, I can.
Spice up your winning. New game supreme upon the scene. Hot pick a do it and it easy if you win. Pick any number from 1 to 15. Then all you do is watch all your winnings come in. All you need a $10. You can bet it and make it in $100. You might even win a 110 or 130. And the best money this you ever spend, dada. Hot pick, Supreme Ventures, this are the new hot topic. So easy if you win, check your ticket for the payout where you get, then wrap up your money in the elastic.
See there, we're catching number 7. You win $100, TC win 110, and so what wins win 130. Hot pick, easy to win.
Easy if you win, me say it. Easy if you win. Easy if you win, me say it.
Introducing Hot Pick, the hot new way to play from Supreme Ventures. Prizes are random. 6 draws per day. Visit supremeventures.com for details.
Easy to play, easy for win. A spice of that.
All right, so welcome back, folks. We have with us Senator Gayle. Senator Gayle, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you, Chopper, for having me.
Greetings. And then we have Dwight Debo. We're not hearing Debo. Debo needs to unmute his mic for a moment.
Debo, you need to unmute.
Yes, man. All right. How me sound now?
Perfect.
How me sound?
Yeah, man, you sound good, Debo.
Jason, how you doing?
Well, we're here. Liking the show so
awesome.
far. Big up, Floyd.
Very
Beautiful.
impressive.
Love it, man. Love it. Not only. Let me just tell you quickly, viewers. Jason is the owner over there at Pier 1. Pier 1 sells and provides one of the best pasta in the world. Jason, take it from me. Me's a food guru. And if me tell you say your pasta good, trust me, it's good. And I've eaten pasta in about 15 different countries. And create my own recipe.
I don't know you as a liar, chap.
All right, there you go.
I don't know you as a liar.
Good. So tomorrow, guys, make your way over to Pier 1 and order some pasta. Tell them I send you. Senator Gayle, boy, we're gonna reason this thing out like we're there on the corner, because it need a corner reasoning. Here's my difficulty with this whole project, Senator. Montego Bay provides, from where I sit, a significant amount of the revenue that goes into the consolidated funds to run this country. The question I'm asking, why is it that anybody who is a Jamaican would have any difficulty with anything at all that is implemented to support Montego Bay?
Well, let me start, Chopper, by saying that I don't believe that there's any Montegonian who would have resisted this project. I have been to Montego Bay. I have driven top road, bottom road. On my way to Hanover, I go through Montego Bay. And the traffic is one of the major challenges in Montego Bay. But let me start by saying that for a small developing state, infrastructural development is always a critical key, and it creates employment. It at the end of the day, the infrastructural development is something that is badly needed, and it's going to enhance productivity and efficiency. The movement of goods and services are going to be critical for any person or business that is putting, transferring goods and services right across. Also, the linkages in terms of support that is going to be created for businesses in the surrounding area. This is the type of kickstart that St. James needs badly, especially at the fact that the challenges that we have been facing by the pandemic. So no reasonable or sane person should be resisting this major
Well, let me jump to you real quick.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Senator. You were freezing up a little bit there.
Yes. Okay. So I was saying I want to start from that standpoint that it is it is so critical for national development, and it's critical for the infrastructural development, and it's going to be good for productivity in and around St. James and all the other surrounding regions in Western Jamaica. So it's a very good thing. And it must not be resisted, it must be supported. Because at the end of the day, it is going to pay off.
Absolutely. Well, we can count on you because you're one of the policymakers who will see stuff like this coming across your desk in the Senate. Mr. Russell, your business and your operations, as a matter of fact, not just Pier 1, because you're serving on a lot of boards, and you're part of the decision process in Montego Bay. What's the mood of the chamber? What's the mood of the business community with regard to this project? Jason?
It's one of relief. It's one of hello.
Yes, we're hearing you.
You hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, it's one of relief. Right now, we've been waiting for this moment for a long time. It hasn't been the top of mind conversation due to COVID. Things are a little bit slower, a little more manageable for the last year. But we know that once COVID is behind us, that traffic is going to be the number one factor in our day-to-day lives. So if we can get ahead of the curve by starting the project before we desperately need it again, then hopefully by the time we get back up to 100%, we're well underway with the project. So right now we're just, it's jubilee down here in terms of knowing that this road is now underway.
And you see, that's the contrast to when you listen and you watch your television and you look at Parliament and you listen to folks who I just described a while ago. Some of these folks really don't even know Montego Bay that well, and when they sit in Kingston and want to make a decision as to whether or not Montego Bay benefit from common sense, this is a common sense project. I mean, Montego Bay is a developing city, is a tourism mecca of not just Jamaica but the Caribbean. Why would one want to stifle us, man?
Well, you can't actually use Mobe in terms of the bypass or the ring road that they're creating. You have to think about all of Western Jamaica. What this road means is Mobe is the hub, it's the starting point for most trips. And we always think of customer service from the moment you get onto our soil until the point that you leave. And when you walk off of a plane after traveling for 18 hours and then sitting 2 hours of traffic just to get outside of Mobe, you've already upset the incoming traveler. You've already started to give them bad service. And somebody going to Negril now still have another hour and a half drive to get to their hotel. They're already in a bad mood. So you can't think of Mobe and our...
Yes,
exactly. You can't. This road is not parochial. It's not a Mobe thing. It's not I need to go out to Iron Shore. I need to go to Pier 1 to have a beer. You're talking about Western Jamaica on a whole. Cruise ship passengers that only have 6 or 8 hours on your island. And now you take 4 of them stuck in traffic going and coming back to the ship. You've lost significant revenue and time spent in a shopping plaza on a tour at the beach having a great time. Nobody thinks of Jamaica when they come here as somewhere that has traffic in this volume. They think of beaches and pina coladas and coconut trees and how
Right.
lovely it's going to be.
Yes, yes. Debo, from a political standpoint, you're in the trenches on the ground, and you have to look at it in on a political basis. We have Michael Barr joining us. You see, the entire Montego Bay is coming out. Once you make this call, you'd have to call twice because people are passionate about this sort of infrastructure development. Debo, how do you see it from a political standpoint?
Well, firstly, let me start off as a politician in the room. Let me start off accordingly. Let me thank you for inviting me to this program this evening. Senator, good to see you. Mr.
Good to
Russell,
see you,
good to see
brethren.
you. Yeah, man, indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, Chopper, I am the man that when you see me come with my tools, say some work I go on. So you see, when I push up my head on an issue, Chopper, it is something that is worth attention. Chopper, the kind of advocacy that I want to see is not is not is not denouncing a positive move. I need to see the opposition supporting, and I hear the whole conversation about opposition opposing and all of that. That I don't believe that. I believe that the opposition's purpose is to support every just cause for the Jamaican people, whether it is for the JLP, whether it is for the PNP, whether it is for the man in Canada or the man in China or the man in Africa. If it is in the interest of the Jamaican people, the opposition ought to support it. And I consider it to be a slap in the face when after I saw a picture the other day of Long Hill, because Long Hill is in Senator Long Hill is in my division, and
Yes.
we've been having we've had I have felt so much pain with Long Hill, and in 1890 something, Long Hill was still the same as it is today, and there was a horse and buggy and a train on the road, and finally after so many generations, a government has come with a solution to this problem. And the contribution from my friends in Kingston on the opposing side of the floor is not in support. I mean, it is the most unpopular thing I have seen happen within this region in a very long time because everybody on the road is almost astonished. It is quite a slap in the face. And Chopper, believe me when I tell you, everybody is affected, not just Pier 1 and not just Sanders, because you have some people who try to paint this picture that we're a government for the big man them. But the big man them employ the little people. When craft vendors not getting any business at the craft villages, it's because they're missing their flights, because there's not enough time to pass through
Right.
and engage the various things that are available. There's so many losses. And finally there's a solution, the perimeter road, which will provide opportunities beyond just what is on the main thoroughfare. It will provide opportunities for persons that are in communities that were once forgotten about. It is now broadening and extending the city limit. And we felt the pain. And Senator, let me tell you, we take offense here in St. James when persons who aren't familiar or intimate with the struggle making certain kinds of pronouncements. It is very hurtful. And the day that council was taking place, I was unavailable, Chopper, and I had
Mhm.
to find the time to go there and state my position and how I felt. And the way I feel, Chopper, when I speak on behalf of the people that I represent.
Mikey Ba,
Hey,
you
Chopper.
you are welcome, my brother. You are a senior mobile man in a Cornwall man, and you understand the terrain, you understand the logistics. A project of this magnitude, what would really cause anybody, anybody, whether through political or otherwise, to oppose it?
It fathoms even the simplest person as to why anyone would want to oppose it, other than that they don't operate or conduct any business in Montego Bay, as Debo and Mr. Russell quite clearly explained. All right, let's look at tourism, seeing as that's an industry I'm in, being a director at TPBCO. When you say a tour bus trapped in traffic for, as Jason Russell was pointing out, that is, let's leave out Mr. Russell, let's leave out Debo, let's leave out Sanders. That's that hour or that half an hour that little hustle at a craft market loses, because we are trying to build their lives by encouraging more of the tourism to go towards the craft markets, as Minister Edmund Bartlett has stated over and over. And then to join it back to even farming, where Floyd Green was amazing. The direction and the knowledge that the direction where we're going, it's going to tie everything back. And if you do not have a bypass, all of that is lost. All of that is lost.
Wow. Senator Gayle, you are sitting in the Senate, and this matter is going to come to you, because there is clearly an argument being developed by the opposition in dividing the argument in the lower house, and I'm sure when it comes to the upper house, we're expecting the same. What without telling us what your plans and how to deal with that when it gets there, how is it going to be managed by you guys in the Senate? Because I'm sure you're going to have the same opposition that exists in the lower house. Senator Gayle?
Yeah, but
remember
on Friday, Chopper, they came.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yeah, man.
You hear me?
Yes.
You hearing me?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So on Friday, it actually came to us, and the same opposed position came, and we resisted.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Sinclair spoke and Matthew Samuda, who I believe.
Mm-hmm. We're having a little bit of difficulty with Senator Gayle's connection there, guys. Jason, let me just jump back to you real quick until we can figure out a better line with Senator Gayle. I think his connection is freezing up, so it's not coming through clearly. The bone of contention with and I'm pushing this to Jason, and then I'm gonna go around the board. But the bone of contention with the opposition is the process being used to select the contractors. From where you sit, Jason, how do you view it? Do you think that there is corruption or there is anything untoward there?
The first thing we have to realize in Jamaica is that there are certain projects that are going to be put in front of us to carry Jamaica out of the dark ages that we just simply cannot do on the island ourselves. I think that the sentiment of building Jamaica with Jamaicans, it's a good one to have. It gives you a warm fuzzy feeling. But the truth is, we need technology. We need people who build great things, build them well, and for lack of a better term, they build them efficiently. Meaning, if you get $1 to build something, then it's $1 you have. You understand?
Right.
We seem to have a problem with some of that execution. This is not the kind of project, and this is on this grand scale that we can afford to delay, have overruns. This is not the government that's going, and from what I can see, it's not the government that's going to accept sloppy work or people giving excuses. Montego Bay won't accept an excuse where this project is concerned. With that being said, we need bright minds, we need big, large companies to come down, companies that have built millions of miles of roads and hundreds of bridges to come in and to help us to build Jamaica. And just like bauxite in Mandeville, they don't come and build and do something and leave the place dry. You know, they educate and they show us a lot of things before they leave. A lot of equipment stay here. A lot of people learn. A lot of people have experience. A lot of jobs are given. Honestly, in talking to the PM about it, it is going to be a clear process. It's going to be an open book. It's going to be a public process that anybody can read. It's for public record. Nothing will be signed or any deal will be written in darkness, which is what we kind of used to in the past. So I am super confident that this is going to be a model execution with this group. I mean, I still cannot, and I still even on this show, I cannot hear anybody give me any reason for opposing this project. There's no negative on it. And you really
I'm gonna give you.
have to dig hard.
I'm gonna put some negatives to you. I'm gonna pretend for a moment to be on the negative
Make
side.
sure that
Mikey
you
Bob,
hold up with it.
the argument is put forward that it's the Chinese who will benefit in terms of workforce. What say you, Mikey Bob?
Well, that is always the argument, but look at previous projects that they have been on. Jamaica has benefited from the loss of traffic, from efficient. Look at the roadworks in Kingston. Come on, we have to get past the point. And I do agree that we need our Jamaican people on work. We need them to learn, as Jason Russell just pointed out, the lessons they will learn, the teaching that will happen. So in the future, we ourselves will be the builders.
Right.
But the efficiency right now we need, as Mr. Russell pointed out, and he was perfect on the point. We need to get out of the dark ages, and we need the experience of this company to come in and get and do it properly and within a time frame with no cost overruns and get it done. What we should concentrate on now is to learn so that in the future we don't have to go and seek from the outside, as they want to put it, or we need to get off this Chinese thing. Right now,
Senator Gayle, from where you
now, they're the ones who are going to put it down properly. Let's get
yes, I agree with you, Senator Gayle. From where you sit, you're a trade unionist, so you understand the whole importance of labor and ensuring that our labor is protected. I put it to you, the people on the street telling me that it's the Chinese people who are going to benefit in terms of labor. What say you? All right, so we're still having a little bit of difficulty with Senator Gayle's connection. It's freezing up. Debo, I think you might want to jump on this one. Can you? A matter of fact, let me try again. I think Senator Gayle there. Let me try with Debo. Debo, what say you on this whole issue of labor? Do you think that the Jamaicans will benefit significantly?
Absolutely, Chopper. Absolutely. As I've come to understand, 90% of the labor force will be local. And for those who didn't hear it, maybe if the connection wasn't clear, 90% of the labor force will be local.
And that is in writing, a part of the contractual agreement.
Absolutely.
Good.
And
so you're rubbish one of my negatives.
Okay.
All right. So the second negative, Debo, is 50%. And I'm going to go back to,
50% of the skilled workers,
yes,
will be local. Now let me say something to you, Chopper, and people need to be very clear and understand this, because my background is construction. We have a challenge, Chopper, and this project is going to be a litmus test for Jamaica. Many times, Chopper, I have a truck and I have difficulty getting a driver. And when persons see the Chinamen driving the backhoes and driving the graders, they say Chinaman a drive truck and tractor. But if you put another Chopper tomorrow, I give you a week, put another to get 50 qualified drivers to drive 50 trucks. You get back to me. You're going to come back to me very disappointed, Chopper, because a lot of what we've had have left. They have gone elsewhere.
Canada took up a lot of our drivers.
No. Let me just put something into perspective for you. What I'm looking forward to from this project now, Chopper, is that the expertise and the technologies that are brought here will reside here, both in the physical space and in the minds of our people. So I want us to focus
Absolutely.
our energy now, because I'm coming from a generation, Senator, I'm a little younger than you, but I do remember when the tilapia and the Israelis did the tangerines and a number of other things took place. And what happened was when they left, the project ended.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
And that's an unfortunate tragedy that took place here in Jamaica. You see empty ponds, you see orange trees dying, you see tangerine trees dying, and all these things. Right? Am I right, Senator?
No, you're right. You're quite right.
Good, good.
You hearing
So
me now,
now,
Chopper?
Yeah, man. Very clear
Yeah,
now,
because
Senator.
I've been having internet challenges over the weekend, so I just shift my location.
Yeah, man. You're perfect now.
Yeah.
So now you can take the question I wanted. I was speaking the brain a while ago on the
Yeah, man.
labor side of it. But let me ask you this though, Senator.
Yeah.
And I guess Debo, Jason, and Michael has rubbished my first negative. My second negative is the people on the streets say, boy, none of the local contractor now going to benefit Rasta. It's only the big guys with the big trucks from China who will benefit.
So let me deal with the first question in terms of we had to go in terms of experience and track record.
Yes.
And if you look at the work done by Czech in terms of all the highways, there is absolutely no question about the work that has been done. The second point is that they have to use subcontractors. And the agreement also makes way for the use of subcontractors. And China Harbor will be held accountable for the work of the subcontractors.
Right.
Now, Debo made the point about the employment, and I think Mikey also spoke about it. Now, for the first time, you are having an agreement in terms of an order that speaks to 90% of the unskilled labor. The Jamaican workers will be utilized. The first time. It also says that 50% of skilled labor, once available, will be utilized. Another key feature to it is the question of training in collaboration with Heart Trust NSTA. Now, that is key because construction workers enter projects, they work, and then you have this situation where there's absolutely no knowledge transfer, no technology transfer. And you now have a situation where what is going to happen is that you're going to have certification. So
on the
a
job.
construction worker will leave being certified. So he or she is going to leave with something, some sort of qualification to enhance their development. That is one of the things that the trade unions who represent these construction workers have been walking around the walls of Jericho for the longest while to have. And now what you're having is that the successive governments, we have made representation and it has fallen on deaf ears. This administration has accepted the call by the trade unions who represent these workers. And so I consider it, Chopper, as a watershed historical moment. Another key to it, is the fact that for the first time, check who has been paying these workers below the minimum standard, below the standard that has been established by the Incorporated Master Builders Association, and below the standards that has been established for workers in the construction industry. This order instructs that China Harbor must pay the minimum standard. Again, another response by a government who has heard us and has put forward measures to ensure that the workers are protected. Now, we can't ask no better than that. So any resistance to that is one, an attack on the density that has been created in terms of the number of workers that are going to be utilized for both skilled and unskilled labor. It is going to be an attack on certification and training, and it's going to be an attack on the minimum standard that has been established by way of this order. And I certainly believe that it is good for the workers who are going to be employed. And it's good for labor, and it's good for the industry, and it's good for development. So I hope, Chopper, that removes the myth that has been created out there, the mischief that has been proposed and permeated by those who want to say create a blockage in terms of development. We are moving forward. We have accepted it, and we're going to be working with it.
Wow.
Chopper, I just want to state that one of the things that I would love to see coming out of this project is that Jamaicans learn. We see the efficiency and the timeliness and the no cost overrun that will happen. And going forward, we ourselves become that efficient workforce going forward. I mean, everything Senator just said is exactly what we have been seeking. Get rid of the complaints on contractors and everything will be null and void in the future.
Right.
With everything that we will learn, as Debo quite said, the litmus test is here.
Wow.
Chopper. Well.
Chopper 0, Perimeter Road 1. Come again, Chopper.
Boy, I lose 2, I can't go for round 3. I mean, the other ones are softball. I bowled my 2 hardest ball a while ago and it got knocked out of the park. So it don't make sense.
Try a little spin.
I mean, the labor part of it, which is one of the biggest argument that is being proposed out there, is that, boy, you know, and we've heard that is stuff that we hear on the streets. Again, it comes down to the contractors. And not only that, it is in writing that this is what is expected, 90% and 50%. But what you have just said a while ago, Senator, is what really captured my heart, is the fact that the what is required of Czech is to actually pass on the technology, the training and the development. And the key component there, you know, is the certification. So we're not just talking the talk. You're walking the walk by putting in the infrastructure, putting in the institutions to follow up and to ensure that these workers are trained. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better partnership and a better way of conducting a project.
But Chopper, we have a legislation that speaks to the free movement of foreign nationals.
Yes.
That when you have foreign nationals coming into a country to take up skills that are not here, part of the responsibility of those foreign nationals is to impart the knowledge. And for Debo, for Jason, for Mikey, and even for yourself and all of your viewers and listeners, we have to hold such protocols and principles accountable. We have to watch for it, we have to call for it, and we have to ensure that it takes place. That is what it means for development. That is what it means for the transferring of the knowledge. And so at the end of the day, we're going to be leaving with some workers who keep coming to this, that they were unskilled, and we hope that they are going to be leaving with some skills development.
But yeah, Chopper. So if I was asked to forgive the PNP for what they have done, I probably would have to, because I don't think they know better. They don't understand development, because in their 18 years or over 18 years of governance, what they've done for this parish is woefully inadequate. We've done more in one term than they have done in over 2-3 terms of government.
But I hear the PNP say otherwise. I hear the PNP on the street saying, boy, they are the ones who develop Montego Bay.
Chopper, talk is cheap. The sewage pan them down a places. So we have enough beach already. Thanks, but no thanks. We can ride jet ski and sewage pan. Thank you for the tax office. Yes, thank you for the tax office. But Chopper, I just said this to you. You know, I know you bring me in here because you want a little salt, you know, so I come with a little salt. But Chopper, and it is a no-brainer. and I'm now going to speak as somebody from the industry side. The fact that this company has done the logistics means that they're already somewhat mobilized. It is a no-brainer, Chopper,
No
that it
brainer.
will be significantly more economical to use the company that did the logistics than go to market and find someone else. It is a
Does make sense. Yeah.
no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. They know the terrain. They know the ins and outs. They know the details of it. It is almost a turnkey now for them to just jump in and get it started. The interest that we need to serve, Chopper, is not the interest of the international companies and all the other companies across the world that would want to come in and try to tender on this project. The interest that we are seeking to serve is the interest of the Jamaican people, getting it done economically and getting it done well in an efficient way.
And Debo, don't leave out getting our people trained and the certificate.
That is it. That is it. Deal breaker for me there, you know, Mikey.
But Chopper, just to add to that, you know, now in the 19 years, almost 19 years of PMP, my office is on 4th Street, and I used to look across at an open lot that just, you would say, man, this place has so much potential. Man, why don't do something with it? I no longer have to set up. When I look out through my window, I see a state-of-the-art, beautiful beach park done by this government.
Yes, yes.
Under the leadership of to me, the best Prime Minister Jamaica will ever see. And I'm very proud to say that.
Yes.
Because
and there are a lot of skeptics about that project too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, I know, but look at the fire station that will soon be open.
State of the art, the largest in the Caribbean. Have you seen that yet, Senator Gayle?
Yes, man.
Montego Bay finally getting its dues. We have been the tourism capital for this country for the longest time. And we have always felt, I'm sure this will be echoed in here. We've always felt that, see that Kingston do it, see that this, that, and Montego Bay was constantly left behind.
But
we
Chopper,
are now seeing the fruits for which we plowed, we planted. So kudos to this government, and I must say thank you very much.
Let me just say this to you, Chopper, and Senator. As a result of a good government, I am a bossy representative because I have a bossy convention center, a bossy fire station. a bossy new police station up in Mount Salem that has been around from when a black man couldn't pass the rank of, what was it, sergeant?
Somebody about, I'm not sure.
Right. Health centers being upgraded. Exactly. And I do understand, Senator, if you will allow me, I hope I don't get slapped. I do understand that an announcement will be made for some logistical work, and I'm going to refer to it as logistical work, meaning that some improvement in the road network will take place going into this project. Where or what it is, I don't know, but Senator, you might know a little bit more than me, but I have come through the grapevine to understand that activities leading into the actual main event will start taking place. Don't know no timelines, don't know no details, but just start. I would share that.
So part of the thing, Debo, is that it is not only going to be dealing with any bypass or just highway, but also the linkages, those road network that leads in and off of it. So it is going to be such a massive type of network arrangement that at the end of the day, those supporting roads will also benefit. And that's one of the key things about it, It was well planned out, it is well organized, and we're going to be reaping the benefits of it later on. Well, somebody made a point, I believe it may have been Mikey, about the planning of this. Now, delay is critical. We have to get this started now. And if we were to go and put out the thing to the type of tender arrangement that some people are speaking
3 years
about,
time,
we're going to lose time, we're going to lose money, we're going to lose effort, we're going to further create frustration. And when this pandemic start to ease down and tourists start to come here, we would be prepared for that, prepared for the tourists coming back. So don't make anybody tell you dopey stories. They talk about these things
and
that we don't see. And like when people tell you about dopey, you don't see dopey, so you become afraid. Let us not be misguided by what some people might want to tell you because they don't appreciate it, they could not have done it, and they really don't understand it. And so they promote this type of nonsense. On Friday, when they keep talking about, yes, we had it in the pipeline. We were contemplating it. We were thinking about doing it. I listened to my colleague, Senator Charles Sinclair, and he spoke about almost 20 development projects that has taken place in Montego Bay. Till we have to tell him, stop, leave some for another city.
Senator joking. What Joe? I will say this to you. I'll add to what you're saying there, Senator. Since the pandemic has started, I can tell you that within the year, has it been a little over a year? The amount of things that have taken place in this year, in this 1 year period, when the Prime Minister comes to Montego Bay to open projects, he will have to overnight for at least a week if he was to open one project a day. If he was to break ground.
In Member of Parliament, Hero Clark's constituency alone, the Prime Minister would need about 3 days. When you look at the amount of houses, you look at the largest fire station in the world, well, not in the world, largest fire station in the Caribbean. That's what I was told recently. Because that building is huge.
Chopper, I don't want you to leave out the small projects because I have to give Minister Bartlett some real kudos here because, Floyd Green was talking about farming. In Lilliput and those areas, there's actually backyard farming that is going on that would have been supplying the hotels, but they are now supplying various supermarkets or small shops or whatever with fruits and vegetables that is done in backyard.
Right.
And these are the type of projects when you hear how eloquent and how Floyd Green was pushing the agriculture, which is dear to me. Especially the dairy that he's also coming up with.
Right.
I grew up on a farm. A lot of people don't know that about me. They only know the city, Mikey boy. But I grew up on a farm where my grandfather used to load us up in the morning and we used to pass the Addison farm, the various farms and pick up their milk at the gate, carry it, go to the dairy farm and Montpellier, then carry it back and put the money right on top of a stone on top of the thing. Nobody never thieved it back then and go on. So all these projects brings us back now to Montego Bay where it would fall flat if we did not have these developments going around so we can get to our different producers efficiently. And that is the biggest thing. Our tourism, all tourism dollars will be spent locally because they can get now that extra time to go to a craft market, to stop at a Mr. Russell and have a lunch up here on. And Chopper, I agree with you, but I like the salmon veg that Mr. Russell has. But
that pasta is a killer, man. It's good.
These things increases the productivity of this country.
Yeah, as a man that is operating a business that is heavily affected by the traffic downtown,
exactly.
I can tell you that this road doesn't just represent a bypass, as some people might want to refer to it as. It is also holding up projects that can't happen until the traffic in Montego Bay eases up.
Ease down.
When you talk about when you talk about the hip strip, that is supposed to get a full transformation, but will never be able to get off the ground until it is not a through traffic area anymore. When they can start getting the rickshaws and the sleeping policemen and not have the trucks having to drive through there. When you have developments downtown that can't take place right now simply because the traffic volumes are just too high, and most of that traffic are people
going
through Montego Bay.
Exactly.
Going through. So even the craft market downtown is caught up in this traffic gridlock. Instead of it being a nice, picturesque experience where people can leisurely walk and walk to people.
Mm-hmm.
They are caught up in this value of downtown has declined mainly because to access downtown on a busy day is almost impossible. So people rather to go to a Fairview or a Iron Shore, a Witter Village to get
On
what
the
they need because
outskirts.
downtown is just unreal in the evening.
Jason's connection is breaking up a little bit. But guys, we're gonna take a quick Jason, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll come back.
Exactly.
Chopper, your first 3 commercials, by the way. I must say.
I think I know the one that you like, you know.
We're waiting for the Pier 1 advertisement. Don't worry, it's coming soon.
So I would have Citadel one for you, you know.
Absolutely. But that's what we're here to do, man. Promote local business. But let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll give you guys the last word. Jason, we have to come back and have a one-on-one conversation where we have less traffic. We can do the same thing with everybody here. We can come back and have a one-on-one conversation and dig deeper into the thing where we can have a more synergized convo. Well, let's take a quick break and we'll come right back, guys.
Spice up your winnings! New game supreme upon the scene. Hot pick a do it and it easy if you win. Pick any number from 1 to 15. Then all you do is watch all your winnings come in. All you need a $10. You can bet it and make it in $100. You might even win a 110 or 130. And the best money this you ever spend, dada. Hot pick, Supreme Ventures, this are the new hot topic. So easy if you win, check your ticket for the payout where you get then wrap up your money in the elastic.
See there, we're catching number 7. You win $100, TC win 110, and so what wins with 130? Hot pick, easy to win.
Easy if you win, me save, easy if you win. Easy if you win, me save.
Introducing Hot Pick, the hot new way to play from Supreme Ventures. Prices are
full of flavor, no if or no maybe. Malta my crave on a daily. I couldn't ask for a better cold glass. Coffee can't pass from this. My Malta, my pocket with me. You know I got it with me. I feel have a buckle for myself. Yesterday the shop locked, so today me come back. 2 new flavors on the shelf. Me say me see it and me grab it and me love it and buy it. My mommy take it and she pull it and try it. She say Malta in the morning, afternoon or night. And she finish it, she don't need no help. Drink them more. Coffee or vanilla, the Jamaican original. Have it with my lunch and my dinner. Ginseng with the ginger, make you settle and you simmer. Good for the baller and the singer. Make you feel good and it tastes real nice. Better when cool, so we put it on ice. Take a sip once, if you take a sip twice. Mother full of flavor for life. Mother full of flavor for life.
All right, folks. So welcome back. We come to that beautiful moment when all good things must come to an end. But we look forward though, guys, to come back and having this discussion because this conversation is not done enough. I think you're going to hear more views on it. It's a good thing though. The Prime Minister came out, and I'm sorry I don't even have the clip of the Prime Minister spoke eloquently about it recently at a constituency office opening in Central Kingston, where he basically drove home the point and the importance of this project. You guys did the same thing here. Everybody here is connected to Montego Bay somewhere or another. And you guys have stated how important it is. Because part of the discussion, Senator Gayle, was that most of the persons who weighed in on the topic prior were not really connected to Montego Bay. They wouldn't understand how Jason business would suffer from a business place that is situated in the heart of the city. People wouldn't understand what Mikey Barr Your office is located right there in the city. The sort of traffic issues that you would have. Debo, you trampools the area night and day, so you understand the intricacies of what's happening on the ground. So rest assured that the conversation must continue. But let me give you guys the last word, starting with Senator Gayle.
Well, let me just say that yes, this project is going to go through, and I want to see the success of it so that it can be replicated in other projects, in other parishes. Western Jamaica needs something like this because of the other anticipated developments that are going to be taking place in both Westmoreland and Hanover. These linkages are important. These infrastructural developments are important. Employment is what is needed right now. And I really believe that Jamaica as a country needs this kickstart right now. So let us work towards building our country and building our people. And that's what I want to say just now.
Thank you, Senator. Mikey B.
I'm in full agreement with the senator a while ago, and I'm looking forward to this. I mean, the delays, we can't wait. This has to be done, and it has to be done now. The future is here. We need to move with it. Tourism not going to wait, and neither is hunger. So let's get it done, and let's get it done efficiently. And also, let us, as Jamaicans, learn so we do it ourselves later on.
Absolutely. Debo.
Yes, Chopper. Well, first of all, I would like to close by saying thank you to my Prime Minister, Senator, and all the other members of Cabinet and the government who made this thing a reality. And I'd just like to say thank you to the members of the opposition who abstained from voting, because I know them can't vote in favor of the government, but symbolically it showed that they believed in what the government was doing by abstaining from voting. And I'd like to say to the leader of the opposition and his members that if they're serious about wanting to be returned to government at some point somewhere in the very far future, they need to resist the temptation. They need to, first of all, they need to pursue justice for the people that they intend to represent. Deal with the people's business. Fight for the people. Put aside the smoke and mirrors and resist the urge. Resist the urge for cheap politics.
Don't teach them nothing, Debo. Don't teach them nothing. Let them stay in the abyss.
Jason, the ball is yours, my brother.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for having me on the program, first of all. It was an enjoyable evening, I must tell you. I'm really excited panel outcome. The truth is, too long now, the history of Jamaica, the naysayers win. All the projects that could have been, but because we're so afraid or we're just too bad, man.
Jason's internet giving him trouble.
Jason we're having a little bit of challenge here with Jason's connection again.
To be told, the Dump Up Beach project that is now up.
All right, so we have another. I tell you what, Jason.
What's happening, Jason? And
yes, I tell you what happened, Jason. Your connection is a little bit.
Hello.
Yeah, your connection is going in and out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna touch base with Jason sometime tomorrow. We'll get a good sit down and go do a little 30 minutes or 25 minutes, and we have a good discussion on it, so we can put it out there. Your perspective on the whole bypass road project. All right.
I think Jason's internet needs a perimeter road. It block up. Internet block up.
Jason, people say your internet has a lot of traffic. But we'll touch base with Jason tomorrow, and we will definitely get his view on a one-on-one, and we can put it out there. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure.
Yeah,
We appreciate you guys coming through. You guys were great. I mean, the first call, the first request. I mean, when I asked you, Senator Gayle, not even a second thought, you were spot on. Same thing for Mikey B, Debo, the same thing, and Jason, the same thing. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, we
One
all
love,
want
we
to
touch
come on
base.
your program, you know, Chopper.
Yes, man.
Chopper, I just want to say this was my first time, but I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for inviting me. And
yeah, man. Mike, you've always been a supporter, you know, from we in the States until we hit the ground. You've always been with us, you know. So
That's right.
thank you too. Appreciate it. All the best, guys.
All right. Take it easy.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
A team from St. James, along with Senator Gayle, who gave us their perspective on the whole Montego Bay Perimeter Road. A little bit untidy internet connections, but we will find a way to get through that, and we will further the discussion. Like I said, I will definitely sit down, have a good sit down with Jason one on one as a business leader, and the same thing for Mikey Bar. These folks operate businesses within the town center, and they have been impacted by the traffic situation on a large term. I wanted to get from Jason as well, his the whole COVID situation. How has that impacted Pier One? I wanted to also look at his preparation for cruise ships coming back soon. Sometime in August, we should have cruise ship, and the new initiatives by the tourism minister for home porting in Jamaica, and just to pick his brain on that. So I'm gonna have a little sit down with Jason once we can organize that for sometime this week, and we will broadcast that for everybody. Again, folks, thank you all for tuning in. It's a long show this evening. Thanks to Minister Floyd Green, who came through and gave us a lot of information, new developments in agriculture. Agriculture has always played a significant role in Jamaica's economic development, and Minister Green is adding extra value where that is concerned. A whole list of new programs, new initiatives, and he basically touched on every single aspect of agriculture and fishery. So again, I want to say thank you to Minister Floyd Green. Thank you to Michael Barr again. Thank you to Jason Russell. Thank you again, Senator Gayle, and thank you to Councillor Crawford. The chopping block is back, they say, in full effect. Until next time, everybody. And by the way, before we go, make sure you go and like our YouTube channel, Chops Media, our Instagram page, Chops Media, and also our Facebook page, The Chopping Block. A lot of you guys are watching us, you're participating. We appreciate you. Had it not been for your support, had it not been for you guys, sharing this program and spreading the word, we wouldn't be here. We've been here for quite a while. We've been here since 2017, and we're still going. Thanks to all the member of parliaments, thanks to all the bloggers and people in the diaspora who supports us. We appreciate you guys. Paula Fuller, we see you. Gregory Harris, we see you. Bobby Wilson, good to see you. Veronica Ennis, Clive Fuller, Miguel Daly, Paul Steele, good to see you. Patroy Seal, thanks for the hard work in the background, and thanks to my able, we're stepping up, we have able producers now. We have Anishka, who assists us in the background, doing some great job, great work for us. We appreciate you guys. Nakisha, thank you for holding it down out there in the field. We appreciate you. Keeping it tidy out there in the comment section. We appreciate you. Chopping Block family, always appreciate it. Michael Coleman, good to see you, my brother. Prosperity King. Keisha Mack, much respect, lots of respect. Appreciate you. Who we got there again? Sheldon Dixon. I'm trying to make sure we give props to a lot of these people. So, Chops Media, which is our Instagram and YouTube channel. We beg, we ask, we implore you guys, please to go over to YouTube, like our YouTube channel, Chops Media, like our Facebook page, which is Chopping Block, the Chopping Block, which is pinned to the top of the page right there, and that's where you're getting the live stream from. We're also live on YouTube, so we're streaming simultaneously, so you guys can watch it from YouTube or you can watch it from Facebook. Next week we're going to be doing Instagram as well. So on Instagram it's Chops Media, on YouTube it's Chops Media, and on Facebook it's the Chopping Block. Please, we beg of you, support those pages, like them, comment, give us your feedback, and share the link. The only way we can get the views up, and we're not here specifically for views. What we're here for is to ensure that the information is disseminated all over. Because what we pride ourselves on is to bring facts to the table. We're not just arguing to win a conversation. We're not just going live to get views. Our responsibility is to ensure that we're not just creating a narrative, we're presenting facts. So we're not speculating about issues. We're going to the people who have the information. We're going to the people who are in the know, who are able to speak from a position of knowledge. And that is our main goal. So we beg you and we ask you nicely. Jayan, good to see you, my dear, to share the program, to go over to the Facebook page, like our Facebook page. The Facebook page has been up for a while. The Chopping Block has been up for a while. And we're now trying to grow that page. So we ask you guys to share the link on your timeline and encourage your people to like it. And if each one ask one, then we can grow the Chopping Block page. The same thing for the Chops Media, which is on YouTube, and the same thing for Chops Media on Instagram. We appreciate you guys. We started in 2017, like I said, and now we're in 2021 and we're still going strong. Enough respect to you all. We will be back next week, same time, same place. I don't know who is going to be on the block, but you stay safe until then. Love, peace, and we're out. Thank you, Mama.
Don't make diseases spread.
You can be anything you want in a life and where you come from and where your mindset deck. Look on me, now we come from the yard and the ghetto wanna represent the brand Pepsi. Hey.
Yeah, we're doing it for the love. So good here we can't get enough. Every taste, every vibe, every kick in a hit. I can rise up above.
For the love of taste, I can.
For the love of self-expression, I can. For the love of standing out, I can.
For the love of myself, I can.
For the love of moving people,